Okay, so I'm gonna either say his name right or I'm gonna say it wrong, but I'm gonna pronounce it twice. It's Morray, Morrow, right? He's had an amazing year. He's from Fairfield, North Carolina, the same place J. Cole is repping, even though I think J. Cole's from Germany. But he had an amazing year this year. He released a song currently. He's from the Carolinas, so you know this is gonna have a great beat to it. I think the goat. I think the goat produced it, right? I believe the goat. The goat. I forgot that producer's name. The goat. I think he produced it. So that beat is amazing. I think that beat has a weird tone to it that I think it brings energy to this song that I think a lot of people couldn't have. But I do have to keep in mind that Mari is a R&B singer. Well, he's an R&B artist. He has an R&B voice in him, but he's also a rapper. So we get a mixture of it like always. But this song seems a little different. So we'll see. But let's get into it. Real quick, let's see if we have any spots. We'll get right into it.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Okay, so when people think of this song, when you hear Broken Vows, you think of a marriage, and to some extent, we kind of get this. We kind of get it in the song. However, it's not necessarily that same thing that we're expecting when we get this song. But this song starts off with this chorus, which I think this chorus to me is a catchy chorus, and I love catchy choruses, especially that started off better than a hook. He says, tell me what life is. Can you answer life's questions?" I use all the wrong methods, and I'm starting to think I'll never get it. Which to some extent, it's one of those courses that try to pull you in. And for some reason, this course pulls me into it because this course is something that, for some reason, it's very catchy, and I think it's because of the R&B voice that he has. No, I don't know if it's studio produced. I don't know if it's studio R&B or that's his actual singing voice. But if it is his actual voice that he's can sing with, that is amazing. Which brings us chorus to a chorus that I think it's great. I've been spending all my time stressing, and that's it. It tells a story. It paints a picture that I love. Right. Um, It's a weird thing. So his first verse, it says, I pay for flights, I pay for hotels, just to mess around, do the devil's tango with no rubber." Which to some extent we get it, right? Like, so for without no rubber, and it's a weird thing. I'm even, and I don't care what I have to do, even if I'm lying to people. He says his mother, but we're gonna say he's lying to people, right? Because he doesn't want people to know what he's doing, or it's maybe a person he fell out with a bad relationship with, sneaking out of faith, and it's a weird thing. And so I think listening to that, like that intro, that part of that first verse, dove in head first. She was shallow, it wasn't deep, which can mean a lot of different things. And to some extent, I get what the verse is saying, but I don't know. Because deeps could refer to a lot of things. So I think there's just a lot of things that lead to, which to some extent, made love to music, which is why I'm assuming it's the alternative. Because he said the next line is making love to sweet music, which I think people have done for years. That's why I think R&B is what people love, especially in those moments. So I think this is why the song has that half R&B sound to it. I got caught up in a dream and just wanted to sleep. I didn't answer my phone. I didn't care who called up. Wasn't picking it up. I had 9 missed calls trying to come up with a lie, which to some extent, right, I won't say when you're doing unnecessary things. When you're doing things without thinking, there are things that will happen. Some will be by the grace of God, some won't be. And I don't mean to sound religious on anybody at all, because, but you end up trying to justify it, and when you're trying to justify it, you can't justify it, so you just come up with a lie that doesn't make sense to anybody. She's like a drug. And that monkey got me controlled, which I think is funny that he uses the word monkey, but we'll talk about that in that correlation. But that, I think, to me, that word means a lot to me personally, but we won't go into detail about that. But so, it's like a drug. Like, she's addicting to him. Like, I don't know if it's the connectional bond, the physical. It could be a lot of things that he's connected to. And to some extent, I think a lot of people give into I told you, it sounds religious, but it's not. Maybe some people give into their temptations, because they just want to have fun and deal with it that way. Which he says no one's gonna control that person I'm in a relationship. He says, babe, but the correlation between those. Yeah. So he says that, and to some extent, I think we understand what he's saying, right? Like, we understand what he's saying. Now, do we actually? It's subjective of how you feel about the person, right? Like, it's he said I was thinking about lying about that I misplaced my phone, and to some extent you probably could lie about you missing your phone, but if it's ringing, normally people when their phone ring, they find it, but you could lie about it. He says he just hope he doesn't get caught, and to some extent I think that's the risk you run with cheating. And I'm not saying cheating is acceptable, I'm just saying know the values and know your morals and where you want to keep them. God, that sounds religious. It's a weird thing, because this chorus set up this song perfectly. I ain't gonna lie, I made a mistake. It was just too good. No one's gonna replace my babe, which to some extent, here's the thing. So to cheat, my motto is that you at some point wanted to do it, and you just follow through on that action, which to some extent, one could argue that is a mistake, but cheating means different things to different people. So it's just how you want to move on with it. I know people that have cheated on their partner and they worked it out. Now there are some people that just can't do it that way. So I get it. He's saying, but no one's gonna replace her because she has that spot. She has that spot in my heart, which to some extent, I'm with you for my heart. As he says, I'm with you for my heart. I'm just using her for a waste, which I hate it. But what he's referring to is her body. But then we run that risk of sounding misogynistic. But yeah, basically. But it's the fact that, see, I have a problem with the beauty standard, the technical, traditional, true beauty standard. I have a problem with the whole standard. But so he says I'm just using it for her waist, which, okay, I get it. You're using it for the deed or the act. I get that. But you might be reinforcing something, and people will say, well, I love this person, but they are missing X, Y, and they're missing X or they're missing Y, and I need to get that from somebody else. Which, sure, you could do that, but this is a weird thing. So he says, I know you're full of disgust. I'm on a plane headed to you, because I guess he did it out of the different state or a different country, and he's flying back to home so that he doesn't mess it up. He says, I can't handle your revenge, which is weird, because it's a. Now, I'm not saying he's a cheater, but it is a weird thing that I haven't realized. Many cheaters cannot take the revenge that their partner dishes back out to them, which it's a weird thing to. It's a weird thing to say, but it's also a weird thing to say. Well, if you know you can't dish it out, why would you dish it out on somebody else? He says, I know it's toxic. I know that's toxic. I should stop it. Yeah, but if I was still in love, I wouldn't be messing around, which to some extent, yeah, that's true. Now, can people fall apart and grow apart? Yeah, that's without a doubt, but that doesn't that doesn't justify cheating and then trying to say that I think I fell apart, which to some extent is a bad way of wording it. Which, like I said, I don't have a problem with this song. It's just I have a weird thing about the message. The message makes sense to me. That's not the problem. I think we get the message, and not all music's supposed to have a good correlation or a bad positive correlation to it. But I think you run the risk of sounding like, hey, I don't know what I want right now, so I'm going to cheat on you and still be in a relationship. And you get that thing of, okay, so you want a double-sided coin, you want a poly relationship, but you don't know. It's a weird thing. So overall, I do like this song. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. I like the beat. I like the song to it. But it's just like his voice to me doesn't sound like Quicksand. Like Quicksand is a great song. It has some important details to it, but it's not very personal. And I love very personal music. Now I don't know if he's personally doing this in his life, but it's a weird thing to me, right? Like I like the way the song is made. I love the beat, but I don't know if it's auto-tuned. If his voice is auto-tuned a weird way, then I like it, but it sounds a little bit auto-tuned a little bit, or it sounds reverbed a little bit. And to some extent, I like hearing the natural things, but I know you have to, in production, you have to handle it a certain way. So that's always good to hear, but it's definitely a different thing to understand when you're listening to the song, because the song is 3 minutes and 20 seconds long. It doesn't feel that long, but it's informative. I'm not gonna lie, it's a great song, but it's just not. It's a weird way that they did it. That's all. Overall, I do like the song though.